We have 15 all new AI features for iPhone, and we're going to tell you about all of them.
Welcome to the All Future Podcast, where we talk all things tech and Apple and AI and everything that's coming into the future. If you're enjoying these videos, thanks so much for watching. We're joined in studio by Andrew today.
Yeah.
Woohoo. And, wow, that was a really
non-enthusiastic.
non-enthusiastic. Yeah. Woohoo.
Yeah, that was better. That was a lot better. Thank you.
So the first things we're talking about are all these new tools that are coming to iPhone. And the great thing is some of these are actually coming like via iOS, but some of these are coming just via an app that you can run on iOS.
Which sometimes works better, to be honest. But they're coming in both ways, which is pretty cool, too.
Mm-hmm. So first up, we have the OpenAI, 12 Days of OpenAI. And this is them, their take on 12 Days of Christmas, but they're showing us 12 different features. So what is the first feature that we've gotten here?
The first feature we've talked about already a little bit. It's the Pro subscription for $200 that's geared towards research assistants. And I've already seen examples of people using this on TikTok and other things like that, where it solves problems a little bit better. But I feel like you already have to know how to use these tools already for them to really be helping you at that level, because right now, this is like unlimited potential of things I don't know in ChatGPT that it could help teach me. So, but I have seen some people use it well, and it seems to be geared at research people for research assistance and to help a research team do better research. So $200 a month at that level doesn't seem like a big deal at all.
Yeah, I do think it's funny that was the first one, was, hey, a $200 subscription. But I guess for pro users, that's a very exciting thing, and they probably want to build up excitement along the 12 days. So start with that one and then get to the cooler ones that apply to everyone, I guess.
Yeah. The second one also doesn't apply to everyone because it's a fine-tuning data tool, which is probably really cool if you're also running a research company or a finance company or something like that, and you have tons of data, you need to make sense of it, you want this data tool. They are waitlisting a new fine-tuning reinforcement learning data tool. So that seems cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I can use that.
Yeah, I probably can't use that either. It does say specifically legal, finance, and engineering, which doesn't really sound like me at this point. But
you have been training for the bar recently?
I have been training for the bar recently, yes. Any pun I was going to make about a bar is just too bad. I'm not going to even try.
Okay.
So we'll go for the next one, which is public Sora. So this is something we would probably end up using at some point in the future, at least experimenting with. Sora is their video creation tool, and it's now public, and you can play with it at Sora.com. I actually haven't played with it yet, and I should.
Did.
You did? How is it?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's sort of like the beginning of AI images, where it's not like you could see stuff that's out of place, but even in an image, okay, you get something and the image looks like cool or real, and you go like, oh, that tree looks kind of weird or whatever. But it doesn't really matter because I'm not looking at the tree, I'm looking at the campfire in this tree that I'm trying to create. In my mind, I'm creating a campfire image or whatever. I'm sure people can understand that.
Yeah.
But as I tried to do the same thing, we just did a photo shoot out in Joshua Tree, so I'm like, cool, like let's see if it can create a drone shot of Joshua Tree, which is like a desert landscape for people who aren't from California. Joshua trees are these really specific looking trees, and I was like, put a galaxy in the night sky with like a colorful galaxy outline, and it does the camera movement. It looks pretty good, but everything isn't parallaxing together like it's like a lens in a 3D world. So like you see, it almost looks like a video game. That's the best way to describe it. You see the trees sort of parallaxing, meaning like it's moving with the camera lens, and then you see the sky stay static. And it's really jarring, and you go, oh, this is really fake. This looks really good, but it's really fake. And so I imagine like the closer you are to an image, like it probably works really well with some stuff, and this will probably be great for memes, or those sorts of things where these things have been getting used more and more lately. Yeah. Or like for something very specific. We talked about a show on here called Deus, which is like an FX show where they're constantly showing these images of like a quantum computer. And because no one knows what that really looks like, it's probably really easy to use like some kind of AI tool and go quantum computer. And it just comes up with this thing that looks like abstract. and that'll be very passable because no one knows what that looks like anyways. But I feel like, having a specific character, doing some kind of animation, there's probably people who really know how to dig in and use these tools effectively, but right now there's such a high learning curve, and you might even have to like come in with something like, here's my clip already, extend it and do this with it or something,
Yeah.
So I think that's how they're showing people use it. It's going to be a great, like, amazing tool for filmmakers in the future. Right now, for us or for my purposes, I don't see how I can use it yet. But it's very cool, and
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it. Go try it at Sora.com. You do need a paid ChatGPT subscription, but
Okay.
if you do have it, it is free to try.
Yeah, like not an additional fee on top of your subscription.
Yeah. The other weird piece is that you can only go to 1080 clips, and most of them are made in 720.
Okay.
But you could change the aspect ratio. They made like an interesting interface for it. It's cool. Try it out.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
pretty cool.
definitely.
It's exciting.
That actually reminds me of one that's not on our list today, and that is Grok just added image generation, and it's their own thing. It's not like a third-party one, which is what they did before, and it seems to do pretty well. Most of the examples I've seen are like very specific examples that it's doing a lot better than it used to, but that's kind of a cool thing, and you obviously have access to that just through the X app on your phone, whatever phone you have.
The funniest thing about AI images is AI makes incredible images, and the problem is how people are using them is the people with the worst taste. I just saw a story about how a bunch of AI images are showing up at like Hobby Lobbies and being printed on canvases. So Hobby Lobby is like a craft store in the U.S. And so like it's like a cow in their calf or something, and they're trying to sell it as like this farmhouse painting. But then you see their hooves are all messed up and made into something else, and I'm like, is there no quality control? Because Midjourney or any of these image generation tools can make good cows. You just have to do 100 images before it gives you one good one. And so it is insane that we have such good image generation tools and stuff like this is still happening.
Yeah.
Where we're just not even trying to use them correctly. So, anyways, that's its own aside. But our next ChatGPT feature that they're giving us on the 4th day is the Canvas Coding Assistant.
So this is kind of like what Claude has had, where it's side-by-side windows. You have the chat window, and then you see the code happening in real time next to it. Again, not something I'm going to be using. What about you? Do you?
I've tried to use coding stuff with ChatGPT, and I don't know anything about coding. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of an automation nerd, but more in the like point-and-click automation world, and not necessarily the like coding automation world. I wish I did know about it and know more about it. And they're like, you don't need to know anything about coding and you can use these tools. And that is absolutely not true.
So you could use them, yes.
Yeah.
Do you
They're
know
like,
what you're
and
doing?
then every
Yeah.
demo is like, look, it just writes the code for you and let's see if it works. And then let's put it into this thing and it works. And I would sit there for hours and try to go like, just try to get it to put in the month that I wanted it to put in. It's like not the current month. I needed it to be the month before. And that's probably a very simple thing to do if you know how to code. And they just couldn't give me straightforward answers. And when I would dump it in and try to run the program, it just wouldn't work. So
Yeah.
maybe this will be more helpful. Maybe this will be more helpful in the future when it understands context more of the code and things like that. But
I'm sure it's already helpful for people that know what they're doing.
yes, exactly.
And then this will just make it that much easier. And maybe it does. It lowers the threshold for how much knowledge you need in coding. Like if you have a very basic knowledge, you can do this and get a lot done with it. But you need more knowledge than the two of us have, apparently.
That's available right now. You can go on the browser version of OpenAI in a Mac, and it's a little right underneath your search bar. There's a mode that you could put it in a canvas mode, and it shoots you right into that mode to help you with your coding. So happy coding to the people who do code.
Have you noticed there's an update every time you launch the Mac app?
Yes.
That's very interesting to me. Like, I guess they're adding all these features, so maybe I'm going to get an update for the next 12 days every day. But it is funny. Every time you open it, it's like, relaunch, your chats will be saved. I just find that funny. But the next one is one that is delivered through iOS specifically. This isn't like you download a different app, and that is Apple Intelligence with ChatGPT. So certain answers now, when you prompt Siri, they'll go out to ChatGPT with your permission.
So I liked watching the demo of this because it really helped me The last time this has been available for a while,
Mm-hmm.
because we've been using the beta, and
Yeah.
we both have ChatGPT subscriptions. Or not that you need one for this, but you just turn it on in the Apple settings.
Yeah.
But the annoying thing about it is you would ask a question, it would say it doesn't know, then it would ask you if you wanted to use ChatGPT to answer the question, and then it bounces out to ChatGPT and gives you the answer. This guy who is using it just said, "Hey, ask ChatGPT about this," and that was the better way to do it. So
Yeah.
if you're using your Siri prompts, and we're probably blowing up everyone's HomePods right now or whatever, add the ask GPT about this, ask ChatGPT, because that will remove that step where it tries to figure out if you want it to. You know what Siri can answer and what it can't, and so just if you have a more specific question or a more detailed question, just ask it. The downside of this still is that you can't have a follow-up question.
Interesting. Yeah, you can't. I was just thinking about that in the interface versus that's immediately what you can do and kind of part of the magic of ChatGPT in general, or just any LLM chat is that you follow up. So, yeah, that does seem like it's going to be a limitation, at least for now.
But the benefit is, and what we've told everyone to do, is just change your action button on your iPhone to be the advanced voice mode on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Which is number 6.
Oh, yes.
So this is a cool thing that we could play with right now. We're going to try out Santa mode.
Ooh.
So I have it set to my action button.
Nice.
Okay, loads up.
I heard some jingle bells, some sleigh bells.
Let's make sure it's on. Mine's already on the mode because you could see the snow falling on it.
Oh, that's splendid. Snow falling is a magical sight. Oh, how does it look on your end?
Santa, we're here talking on a podcast. Can you tell people how much you like Christmas?
Ho, ho, ho! I absolutely adore Christmas. It's a time of joy, giving, and magic. There's nothing better than seeing smiles on everyone's faces. Ho, ho!
Nice. That's pretty funny. That reminds me of like certain like Tesla Easter eggs that they've added where it feels like coders had to spend this much time making this, and it feels like kind of a waste, but then it's also kind of cool to have this Easter egg type thing. But he's going to respond to me saying this.
Ho, ho, ho! Indeed! Those little surprises are like finding hidden presents under the tree. It's the little joys we find in the holiday season. Ho, ho!
All right, thank you, Santa. What do you want to say to everyone listening?
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, everyone! Remember to spread joy, be kind to one another, and keep the spirit of the holidays alive in your hearts. Ho, 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 ho!
Oh. Is this okay? Yeah.
Okay, so to do it on yours, because Ryan hasn't do it yet, see that there's like a snowflake icon in the top right-hand corner?
Is it these dots maybe?
It's up here. It starts up there. So it's up in the top right corner. And then we change the voice
Hi there. Hello.
to
Oh.
Santa.
Santa chats are temporary. What? That's pretty funny. The one thing I was going to do, though, is the next thing that's also coming alongside Santa mode. So is it okay if I move past
Yeah, let's
Santa
do it.
mode right now? And that's visual. They've added visual intelligence to this, or whatever they're calling it, a live camera feed. So I can look around and ask it a question. Where am I right now?
It looks like you're in a music studio with a piano and some drums. Are you working on a new project?
Right now we're doing a podcast, actually, and this is my friend. I wonder, what can I ask about him? What kind of shirt is he wearing?
Your friend is wearing a plaid shirt. It looks great on him. Is there anything
Thank you.
specific you'd like to know? You're welcome.
So that is visual, or the live camera feed. I'm definitely going to play with that more because I've played with that kind of with the Meta Ray-Bans, but it's a certain amount limited. And then Apple has the visual intelligence now built in, but this is it's going to be just like the chat difference, where this is going to be much better. Have you played with that at all yet?
Yeah, the Apple Visual Intelligence caps out at like an image, and it just bounces it straight out to Google. So it's the same thing as like inserting an image into Google Lens, which is like the same thing as just image searching through Google. So useful, but slower, like everything that we're talking about here. But it's why having a ChatGPT subscription is worth it, and then why you should be programming it in to use it first before the Apple features. On your iPhone, though, because we still have iPhones.
Yeah. So next up is an interesting one that I'm definitely going to look into and try, and that is projects in ChatGPT. So it says it's kind of like Notion or Asana, where you can keep chats organized and use different chats for different things. And it's specifically in the online interface right now. Have you experimented with this one?
I played with this a little bit. It's not yet in the sense that you could be like sending employees emails and things like that. It's more so they use the example of trying to put a presentation together. So you have all these chats that you're talking about. They store them. If you've ever used ChatGPT, it's like web interface. They store them on the sidebar, right? You were talking about short rib ragu pasta recipe. You were talking about how what kind of charcuterie to put at your holiday party. I just had a holiday party. Ryan was that, so that's all on my brain right now.
Was that all GPT planned?
No, well, some of it.
Oh.
I definitely use ChatGPT to take the recipe and make it for the amount of people that I was serving.
Yeah, that's a great use. I've done that with like a smoothie in a blender to like max out how much space it's going to take up at the end in the blender.
Yeah.
So that I don't overflow it, but I make as much as I can, to like divide into specific numbers. Yeah, it's pretty useful.
But for projects, you can have like an individual project and go, I'm doing a presentation on this, and take in your GPTs from it and organize them in different ways where you can use them in different things.
So like, for instance, if I just want normal search GPT to search for different things for, let's say, a video, and then I want to use a writing GPT to help me write a section, I could like pair those together into a project.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. And then, this thing's running in this way, and then they're grouped together in this other thing. It's just like a way to group GPTs together better.
Okay, that's pretty cool, and definitely seems better than a lot of it can be just kind of you have to reprompt a new chat, or you're using a different GPT, so then even you're jumping between different chats, and it's like you're still starting from scratch, like telling them the basic information. So that's pretty nice that it can be at least all grouped together and organized.
Yeah, that's available now. You can just go to the ChatGPT interface, and it's on the sidebar.
Yeah. And the next one, though, is I think this is my favorite one, and that is Search GPT becoming available for everyone. I think this is my favorite because it's going to kind of destroy Google. And the way Google has become is so much like SEO based and so much ads based. You kind of have to know how to get around to get your actual results. And Search GPT is very good and very good at finding stuff, but it has had some issues. And so it's now coming to all users, not just paid users. So I think that's going to make it so more people have access to a good feature. We'll probably see some downsides to that, but then it will get better quicker because a lot of people will be using it.
Yeah, so I think the downsides that you're talking about, we've talked about on previous episodes, that it's like it could find those articles for you, but don't expect it to have all those text inside the article readily available to it to use. If you want to say, okay, find me 10 articles about Tesla, now categorize that by X, Y, and Z. And then if you want it to write a summary of that article for you or give me like 5 bullet points, you have to like copy and paste that article back in or else it's going to miss a ton of information. It can't readily go out to the internet, copy that information into itself, and then use it for you.
Yeah.
So that's what I think people think it does, is like, oh, it searches, and then I can use all this data from all these articles that it's doing to do something else with. You can't. There's one more intermediary step you have to do in between that. But once it does have it pasted in all the information inside, then it can write a nice summary for you. But it can't do all that by itself. So I think people think that that's how it works. And because it's not, people say it's not good, but it's incredible.
Yeah.
And then we've also talked about the implications of like SEO and how to buy stuff. And that's its own thing that's going to we'll be talking about all next year of how this destroys Google.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we have no idea how ChatGPT uses search. We don't know what search engine it uses under the hood. We don't know what it's doing to get you those search results yet.
Mm-hmm.
It could just be using Google and giving you the Google search results, So,
Or maybe Bing because
yeah.
it's Microsoft partnered with them to a degree. I don't know. Or it's their own thing. But yeah, we have no idea what it is at this point.
But really useful, and then really useful to just be in that interface and not have to leave to like gather a piece of information.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best uses of ChatGPT is you just don't have to leave to do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, well, give me a recipe for this. Now I don't have to like take out a calculator and go, figure out the rest of the thing. Okay, do this.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, well, give me a recipe for if 5 more people show up, and then like what are 10 more things that I could find. You'd never have to leave that interface to get all that information for yourself.
Yeah.
So definitely super useful.
Cool. So then the next one, number 9, is another thing we're not going to be using anytime soon, but very exciting for many users, and that's developer tools.
Yeah, better API tools, lower cost things, the things that businesses are really using this for, and things that, the average person isn't going to use it for. But I'm sure that's really exciting to developers and people who are using this in an enterprise sort of sense. But we don't. So we're going to move on to the next thing, which is super interesting. I always think of AI tools, these new AI tools, when you're going to have an assistant that like can see your screen. This is made for my mom. I think about it all the time. She's like, I closed the window. How do I get back into my email or something like that? She barely knows how to use a computer anymore. And these tools could be just so good to like, here, I've opened Safari for you again to be able to see your email or whatever. Just the basics of the basics. But they've gone one step further, and they've made a hotline called 1-800-CHAT-GPT. Which I think we should call right now.
Okay.
Hello again. It's ChatGPT, an AI assistant. Our conversation may be reviewed for safety. How can I help you?
We're on a podcast right now. Can you explain to me how to use you?
Sure. Using me on a podcast is pretty simple. You can ask me questions, discuss topics, or request information, and I'll respond with relevant answers or explanations. Just talk to me like you would with any other guest, and I'll do my best to keep up.
How long has the 1-800-CHAT-GPT service been available?
The 1-800-CHAT-GPT service is a new way to access me, your AI assistant, designed to offer convenient help over the phone. It's a recent addition, expanding the ways people can interact with me beyond typing or texting.
Okay. I have a lot of leftover short rib ragu. How can I use those leftovers?
Ooh, yum. Leftover short rib ragu can be used in lots of delicious ways. You could toss it with pasta, spoon it over creamy polenta, use it as a filling for tacos, or even make a hearty sandwich. It's pretty versatile.
Can you give me a recipe for short rib lasagna?
Absolutely. For a short rib lasagna, you'll layer cooked lasagna noodles with your short rib ragu, a cheesy mixture like...
You get it.
Yeah.
Super cool. This is, I feel like using the advanced voice feature at all is something that the general person doesn't know how to use. I have people in my band who use ChatGPT. They know how to use the text version. They have no idea the advanced voice version exists.
Yeah.
And to be able to access this just from a phone number, they said if you're in Europe, you can access it via WhatsApp and other things like that.
Wow.
And, just if you're on the go and you need something really quick and you don't, have access to the internet and you only have the phone line, or you just don't have access to ChatGPT like that, or you're someone like my mom and you'd rather just feel like you're talking to a human or something, that can really help you with something. This is incredible.
Yeah, that's really cool. Just thinking, there's something about the difference of it being within an app and being a voice thing there versus making a phone call. And it's, just hearing it through the phone line and getting that good of answers to things is pretty crazy. My question then is like, when you reach a data cap, and then can you like just connect your phone number to your account so that if you have a paid version, then it knows it's you? Because you're obviously not going to have a chat history if you're just making random calls, I assume. It's not collecting that on you. But, yeah, just if you're using it all the time, what happens with caps?
Yeah, interesting. It just said, because I used it before the show to test it out. It just said hello again. That was the
Okay.
first thing it said. So it might be recording my number and it might, you hit a limit and it's like, hey, maybe you should pay for the full version of this. You've been using it quite a lot. It's like,
And yeah, here's how you enter your phone or your credit card number over the phone.
you're like, uh-oh, I need a new phone number. Let me get a Google Voice number and keep calling ChatGPT.
Yeah.
The other tools are really cool, and they're all made by Google. The difference between these tools is none of them are available yet, where all of ChatGPT tools are available right now. They're all waiting lists. So one of them is their VO2 and their Imagen 3 image generator. So this is their answer to Sora. It honestly looks better from what I can see right now from what I've used in the test footage. But it's really cool. We'll show some test footage in here. And their next one is called Project Astra, which is their version of a multimodal assistant that sees the video constantly. And we just saw that get released by ChatGPT. And their last one, which is the big differentiator here, is their Project Mariner. And their Project Mariner is what they're trying to get to be an AI agent.
Yeah.
And the way Google has a crazy advantage here is it already has everything in your Google Drive and your Gmail. So this is like something where you can go, oh, Andrew emailed me about this video. I have this link I need to give them. It's in my Google Drive. Can you just send him that video? And so I can do X, Y, and Z. And then it can go out into your drive and do all those tasks. Like, that's going to be unbeatable and something that OpenAI, unless it's ChatGPT's integrated directly into a Mac where it can do things, which I don't think is going to happen, Google's going to have a huge advantage when we get into this next year of the agent space.
Yeah.
So OpenAI, we've seen, is definitely ahead, but Google is right on their tail with all this stuff.
Yeah. I'm excited to see all of that. And that Project Mariner also, it will like browse the web for you, right? In Chrome. It's like a Chrome extension, I think. I'm curious to see how that goes and what that means and how that compares to something like Search GPT. Everything's going to be changing with all of these tools, and I think it's for the best, but it's, there's always the caveats associated with all of this stuff. So I'm excited by this, and then I'm excited to see, we still have like 2 days of OpenAI stuff to get, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder what they're going to launch. Have we already seen the good stuff, or do we still have something great to leave off the 12th day?
I don't know what could be better than Santa.
That's a great point, Andrew. What could be better than Santa?